Can you paint a picture for us how this understanding of empathic nature and focusing on a higher vibration and frequency would actually resolve the conflict in Israel with Hamas right now, or in the Ukraine with Russia? Like, could you paint a picture for a broader audience of how this shift can really resolve these conflicts on our planet?
Well, in order to understand how it would resolve conflict, you really have to first understand how you are all energetically interconnected. You could even think of it, if this helps your human mind, what would be wise and what would help is to start to think of humanity not as a collection of individual beings, but as an emanation of one being, in the sense that here we have humanity, one being, and every individual human is a cell in the body that is humanity. And so you understand, looking at it from that perspective, how the decision and the action and the most of all the emanation of each being in a collective body is important. You can also understand how in a system that is one singular being, that emanation that is one being, you can also understand how energetically speaking, the dominant frequency affects all who are part of that system. And so when we are speaking about the divine blueprint and the intention of the empathic soul, they really are here to incarnate into the collective that is the one and emanate frequencies that help elevate and lift all other beings that are part of that one being, expressing as a collective, if you will. So because you are all energetically connected, the question is, what is the dominant frequency? And for many years, for many moments in time, the dominant frequency of humanity has existed very much on the mental level, the level of the mind, the level of the ego construct, which perceives everything as separate, which is in it for itself, not understanding how it is interconnected with all of life, not just other humans, but all of life. So can you understand, if that were an energetic frequency, which it is? The mental construct is the ego construct. The mental construct is an energetic frequency. Most beings, let's say, in this collective that is humanity, are vibrating at that level of consciousness, the level of consciousness of separation. You can see if that is the dominant frequency, which affects all other beings because of the interconnection, then that is just where people naturally gravitate to in terms of their perception. And keep in mind that your perception is what dictates your actions and your decisions. So always energy first, and then the actual action, the actual physicality part comes afterwards. It is a result of the energetic. In this case, what we're saying is that the energetic that is dominant is the mental construct. The ego construct, the perception of separation. Now, if enough beings incarnate that are of a different frequency, of a higher frequency, let's say of the heart center, which is a higher frequency because it is more closely connected to source energy. From that center, there is a knowledge and an understanding and a knowing and an experience of interconnection. Then number one, the energetic frequency of that is much higher and much different than the frequency of the mental construct. And because you are all energetically interconnected, what we are interested in is, what is the dominant frequency of this collective? And so the empathic soul, which is a soul at a different state of consciousness, you could say a higher level of consciousness, but we've said before, we don't like using the word higher and lower because it implies hierarchy and your human minds get all wrapped up with that. So let's use the word different. As these souls incarnate with a different level of consciousness, a different understanding, a different awareness, with the knowledge and the experiential understanding of interconnection, which is what clairsentience brings, I can feel that I'm interconnected with all. I have experiences of that. So these souls incarnate and they begin to resonate on a different level that energetically influences every other being in the web that is this one being that is humanity. This is why we wish for those that are empathic souls to think of this more as an emanation. Because what happens is when the empathic soul incarnates into this physical reality and the dominant vibration is not reflective of their dominant vibration, and the mental construct is so dominant, and the conditioning and the programming is so apparent, what happens for many empaths, this is just the truth of what happens, is that they lose themselves in that. They lose themselves in that for a time, but nothing has gone wrong when they lose themselves in that. Because what we wish for you to know is that the soul of each being is always in charge. And when the time is right, the soul will start to gently blend its energy back with the human construct, the mental construct, to create an awareness of a higher perspective, let's say. And then in some sense, the journey begins at that point. And here's what is also true, is that in order for the empathic soul to truly understand and connect with others and truly be of service to others in the way that they wish to be, they have to understand the human experience. And so, of course, they have to go through and experience the lower vibrations. They have to experience the chaos, the challenge. In some certain situations, they have to experience certain abusive situations or certain challenging situations. Of course, they need to experience that. Why? Because they need to experience the lower frequencies that are dominant on this planet so that they understand how to shift them, so that they understand how to help others shift them as they continue to unfold.